Hi, everybody. It's Tantra Mat here today. I have been resisting making YouTubes or Zooms or anything, just staying inside my own work and tending to what I've known to tend to since I was 3 years old, or consciously since I was 19 years old, about these times. And some of you know me, and you know I've been addressing these particular times we're in right now since for probably 45, maybe 50 years, half a century. And I notice when I go to come on to talk, I almost can't remember what to say because I'm interfacing. I can feel myself interfacing with human beings deeply ensconced in the circumstantial realities of our times. And the weakness in the human system to not understand that human beings are not their circumstances. They're immortal, they're divine. Their lifetimes extend beyond one lifetime into many lifetimes, many dimensions. So kind of what happened to me, simply said, is I couldn't forget. I kept remembering. And then in the work we do in The Magician of Self, recently in February of 2024, there seemed to be people who were beginning to remember, and I invited them to work with me, not only to remember, but to recall, bring back through their consciousness, through their template of being, dynamics of existence that had been lost to the fixation of the reality we were born into. But that's actually not why I'm recording today. Why I'm recording today is because of the United States election. And guess what? I'm not going to talk about the election. What I am going to talk about is from prophecy, not just mine. My Kindle book, Have Them Be Not Afraid, isn't just about Gaza and Palestine and Israel. It's about how the prophecy in the 1994s, the being that visited me, the luminous being that visited me, wanted me to let you know. I guess it never occurs to the immortal aspects of creation that we might not be listening. And even if we did, we don't take it into account, busy trying to survive trauma and stress, which are not natural to a human system. But I was given an article to read in the WhatsApp thread by a woman who I have an really high respect for. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have read. It was in a modern magazine. It wasn't in a, but it was a historical review of the different. I'm not going to say the words people use. It irritates me, but of factions of the Catholic Church, of the Catholic religion, that are basically weaponizing the religion. And that's not really that unfamiliar. There are other things weaponizing religion. All you have to do is cross the ocean and notice that the Jewish religion has been weaponized, the Muslim religion has been weaponized. So it's not so strange that the Christian religion in its multiple forms is being weaponized to do battle, to be against them. whoever them might be. But this being told us about these times. And it's just kind of mandatory for me as a prophetess and a seer and a mystic to deliver a remembrance. Some of us actually do remember before there must have been something to do with the greater entities of creation that came in and interrupted the evolution of these human beings that basically knew no war for thousands and thousands of years, weren't against anything. And I'm not going to get into that. You got lots of Gaia and Netflix and Disney. You got plenty of places to go to find out the history that has been uncovered in the ancient times. I don't have to do that for you, nor am I interested. But this is a phenomenon that we're moving into in the November election. I'm not in the right wrong of it. I'm saying it's been prophesied for a long time. Nostradamus, can look up his work. The God, luminous being that came to me, who I thought was God, like my childhood God, who loved me and cared for me and wanted me to know that this was predictable, whatever the next, not who wins the election. It doesn't matter in a way. There are factions of right and wrong, good and bad, for and against, and that is not the design of this planet. The design of this planet and her forms of which we are a part are with each other, basically. And that isn't a lot of people that remember that. Now, on top of it, with everything that's going on with the breaking down of reality as we know it as a substance, not just as a circumstance, the substance of our bodies are breaking down. They have to reform. I'm in the midst of a huge transformative, transmutational practice. Doing pretty good too, which is very different than recovering from illness or even healing from most conversations. It's all about evolving into the next greater whole, while what no longer serves the next greater whole is devolving. So that also wasn't why I recorded this. I recorded it because there's a light bulb on the screen, which you might be able to see when I upload this to YouTube. Instead of paying attention to truth, do you think you have the ability to find your own value? Your own value of being alive regardless of circumstance? Because it'll be needed. Do you think you have the ability or are willing to develop the ability to be with others in the field? And you can explore for yourself what that means, but it will really make a difference in the coming years. My knowing, which has been spot on since for a half a century, completes the end of 2026. It's a new framework of reality is beginning to form in the rubble of what went before. So can you keep your own counsel, and can you let yourself, in some instances, not all incidences, experience that there are powers and forces of creation that operate on behalf of life here, and they're very busy about using everything that is happening to create a new coherency, a new cohesion, a new relational fields within which new futures can rise? Is that possible? Or are you either from a frame of reference that something greater than ourself will save us. How's that going? Or that we need to save ourselves. How's that going? But what about collaboration? What if there's some of us that are actually reformatting, being reformatted and reformatting ourselves and being reformatted, not cause and effect, not something doing something to us, but us collaborating with realms of reality that once existed here, not to fight anything or take over or dominate, but to return to the paradise of this place inside ourselves. My blog, my journal entry on my website about Kevin, I don't remember what I called it. I think the word ether, isn't it though? You know, there's probably not many people that'll even listen to this or even much less register it. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to put it in the electromagnetic field. The electromagnetic field and I have quite a relationship with each other. The silent beingnesses of human beings who just aren't drinking the Kool-Aid anymore. Not vocal, not against anything, although it's hard not to be. But that some are evolving back into their original nature of their original design. And in the face of being part of the original nature of the original design, they're finding they are beginning to register what's theirs to do. And then I come along and I ask them to create coherent fields within which these multidimensional dimensions can rise. You ever wondered why you can't feel etheric beings of love and joy and kindness? You think it's a human condition. No, it's ethers, spiritual and spirit energies, spirit beingnesses. Did you ever think that that connection got broken? That we're in a psychological paradigm with the personality structures of we're good or bad or right or wrong or fearful or loving, but did it ever occur to you we're part of etheric realms, spirit realms, not spiritual realms that are gods that conquer or are the beloved because they love humankind and this planet. But really, honestly, the energy fields that we're a part of and are a part of us, the beckoning. That's really why I got on today before I start moving through time and space at a jogging level, because it's happening. Our what we once would have called conditions or assessments, but are really these energetic fields. Like the Irish that would say, I have love upon me. That's because they knew there were these beingnesses, these energetic, not like personalities, but these energetic energies that made life beautiful. In my own case, if you read that journal entry with my god dog, I could see with my inner eye, although almost with my physical eyes, I will say, I could see that the dimensional realms of many, they were called winds, they were called divas, they were called spirits, they were called lots of things before we forgot. But they're not personalities, they're little energy forms. And when we're in touch with those energy forms, they keep us healthy. And they also, like our dead cells, are moved. Our body needs to get rid of our dead cells. We call it oxidizing. This when we knew ourselves as spirit flesh beings, we knew ourselves as ether and matter. We knew ourselves as sacred and secular. When we knew ourselves as divine and mortal, I don't use the word divine, but immortal and mortal. When we knew ourselves that way, we played with the ethers and the realms. It wasn't all about just being okay or not being traumatized or just being out of stress. We actually had vitality to be alive and vital as a living being. And I'm just saying they're returning, that something's happened dimensionally that's cracking the code of separation, and that there are people that are experiencing. We did it in the 60s too, and it all kind of went dormant. But this is in the biological field. This is our matter. Our matter is starting to reflect the wholeness, the whole of itself. Hence, I could watch this beautiful moment I had with my god dog. I was so startled. I could see these little, I don't know, caterpillar shaped energies, like little soft worms and almost like angels without wings, no faces, but a sense of presence. And I was watching them and I was thinking of the word tenderness came to me in this flurry of these little energy forms were just blew out into the energy field around Kevin and I. He was up against my solar plexus. And I was in the realm of tenderness. I wasn't having a assessment or an attitude or condition of tenderness or an attribute. I was in the realm of tenderness. It was beautiful. And hanging out in that realm, I watched some of the little beings pick up some of my fear. I've been having solar plexus anxiety and fear when I woke up every morning, including nightmares. But all sorts of things have been giving me signs and omens that it wasn't in the paradigm I was born into. It wasn't in how do you fix the physical world. It was how do you let the spirit world, the invisible world, take care of you. And something just happened. And I all of a sudden I noticed they were carrying out these like sort of worn out energies that left behind just like free radicals in the body make you feel bad. They aren't bad, but they make you feel bad because they're dead. They're no longer life enhancing and life generating. But what's even more wild is as they did that, my solar plexus got less and less contracted energetically. I could feel my solar plexus being in rest and curiosity, which is what digest is, be able to digest information, be drawn to it and love it. And it's what makes us love life. And we're curious about the birds eating off my feeder and Kevin wrapped up against my back and the and all the stuff I get to do after Jess goes home to go through hundreds of years, probably only 20, of information that I might provide because I like to provide information, not because of its usefulness or its intent or how it'll protect people from evil, because as an etheric being, you're self-expression. You're not purposeful. You're just always building the energy field of being that you are. So that energy field of being can have a place here again. Not to do anything, but to be here. And so getting access to our mortal, immortal natures, not so much our personalities, I don't think we're there yet, but to once again be served by the energy, the invisible worlds that love this place and love human beings, the energy beingnesses, the energy forms, the energy that make our emotions and our sensations and our attitudes and our even our physical experience of fear or terror or joy and laughter. Those are all energies. Whether you call them physical or non-physical, they're still energies. And it's my observation that those energy forms are reawakening in people that are starting to experience their dimensional natures again. That means whatever incarcerated the third dimension is cracking. Does it mean the story in the third dimension and the aberration of wholeness, the aberration of duality, the aberration of oneness will stop? Not my business. Just not my business. Just not my business. My business is to restore the original nature, the original design of this planet and her forms. That's my business because I love that business. And I think there are others that love it too. And I just had to share today because what if you just let the business of separation do its thing? What if you could just be in your own relationship with yourself and you're rediscovering and reawakening into your direct link with creation, which is awoken in our spirit self, awoken in our energy self, not the energy self to fix your problems, not the spirit self to fix your problems, but to be alive in sensation and alive etherically with humor and lightheartedness, and to be able to grieve because grieving shows up in you, and laugh because laughing shows up with you, and wherever you be that. I'd like to encourage you to buy my book, You as the Mind of Creation, not because I'm advertising, but because it will help your system. Information's important now. That's why people are watching all these YouTubes about how the election is going to turn out, and revealing the underbelly of both sides of the equation. But really, really, when you could be reading my book or other books or listening to information about what gives you life and has you exist as whole, what feeds you, that's what digest is, what nourishes you, what allows you to rest and not be hyperstimulated. What do you think? What do you think? No, what do you think? we're about to move into Hallows Eve and Dia de Muerte. Can we just let some things die in us and other things be born? Things that give us the feeling of being vital and alive, not from the outer self, but from the inner self. That allows us to find a through line. It allows us to find a through line the next 3 years, 25, well, 2 years, 25, 26. Allows us to be anchor points, points of light, while this business of separation and aberration and enemy and right and wrong diminish in realms of oneness and collective awareness and a sense of unified moments with extreme diversity of interest, and yet having a common attractor to just loving being here as she and the greater realms of which we're a part help us to sort things out. Okay, may you be served and have a lovely day.